90% of child abuse and neglect allegations made against foster care parents were classified as unfounded. Tonight, Dave Savini talks with former foster children who say the system lets abusers get away with it as the number of allegations continues to rise.
There is a serious issue with DCFS. It is a child protective service, but yet these kids don't feel protected.
Illinois State Representative Lakeisha Collins knows about foster care abuse. She grew up in the DCFS system, but what she didn't know was just how overwhelmingly often Illinois foster care parents are cleared of abuse and neglect allegations.
It's really mind-boggling for me.
How many of you suffered abuse in foster homes?
Last month, we showed you how these 14 foster care survivors came forward to CBS to help expose this troubling pattern of unfounded abuse within DCFS.
How young were you when you were first abused?
Probably 12. I was physically and mostly abused. I was beaten.
Collins was watching and could relate to their traumas.
Did you see yourself in that group of 14?
Yes. Those former youth of care, they were not lying. They were telling the truth.
The CBS 2 investigators conducted an exhaustive analysis of how thousands of child abuse and neglect allegations dating back to 2016 were handled by DCFS. Every child has an 8-digit ID number. After a lengthy battle for records, we obtained never-before-seen data revealing a deeply troubling pattern. When an allegation of child abuse or neglect is made, 9 out of 10 times, DCFS classifies it as unfounded.
Hey, K family. Welcome to the show. I'm Ken.
Kelis, welcome back, y'all. It's nice to see everybody. How's everybody doing tonight?
I hope everybody is doing good.
All right, Ken, kick off the show. Let us know what we're going to be discussing tonight. Let's get into it.
All right, let's give a disclaimer.
Yes, go ahead.
Disclaimer. This is about child abuse. So if you get triggered easy, just click off.
That's right, y'all. Okay.
All right.
Where shall we begin? A lot of information to cover.
Yes, a lot of information. So CPS or DS or not DS, DCFS, Department Child Family Services, right? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That's what we're going to be talking about, how the system has failed many children. So let's get into this. 2 cases I'm going to be discussing tonight. Terrell Peterson and Imani Moss, plus just other examples, but great detail about the. And it was rough researching this information. I was so disgusted with what I was reading.
It's such a shame, but
so let's get into it. Let's get the slideshow up.
All right, let's do it. All right, yep, here we go.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, my bad.
What happened?
My bad.
All right. Did y'all know that in 1995 and 1998, more than 800 children died in foster care? Just let that sink in. And it's 2024, so who knows what the number is now?
It's probably a lot. I can't even imagine with all the stuff that's going on in this world. Even outside of that, child, I don't even want to know. I don't think I would want to know.
Just look at this baby's face.
Terrell Peterson.
Yes, Terrell Peterson. Rest in peace. All right, one of the worst cases in Georgia. Okay, he was born March 1st, 1992, and he died January 15th, 1998. 1992 to 1998. 5 years old.
5. In Atlanta, Georgia.
All right, Terrell's mother, she was addicted to crack cocaine. That's why her children was taken out of her custody and put in foster care. And they didn't mention no father. And this, you know what, the parents. The parents are failing
I have
children
my opinion about that, but
the parents are failing the children too. Like
mhm.
that's where it starts at, in the home.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because when it mentions that, it says no mention of father, which really is that's just sad. Because in our community, in the Black community, that we're known for not having fathers in our homes, in the home, which it's very important for both, not just the father alone, but for both parents to be in the home, but a father and his role and how I can't think of the word, how he brings the family together is very important. And when you don't have a father in the home, it does something. It just really truly does something to the family. Like,
yeah, when there's
messed
no
up.
I feel like when there's no father in the home, women and men, they go out trying to look like men, they turn to the streets.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because they did not have a father, and women, they turn to men that most of the time abuse them, mistreat them. Tragedy.
So I'm just wondering if the father wasn't mentioned because they couldn't find him, or
I don't know.
they just didn't want to mention him. Like,
I'm
I
not
don't
sure.
know. Like,
I'm reading between the lines. He wasn't around.
Yeah. For this to happen, let's just be real. Let's not even sugarcoat it. Yeah, you're right, Ken. He probably wasn't around, especially with all of this mess that went on with this poor baby boy. Whew, all right. Go ahead.
So foster home was one of his half siblings' grandmother. So he had two siblings, a brother and a sister, and they placed the three of them in the grandmother's home, which was not Terrell's grandmother. It was his siblings. So this is where all the abuse starts, is in that home. So before his death, he endured cardiac arrest and battered child syndrome in 1996.
So the grandmother, so the grandmother was a foster care parent?
Yes. The three kids was Terrell's two siblings. That was the grandmother's actual grandkids. Terrell wasn't, not biologically.
And she took him in.
And but she shouldn't have.
Just to be clear.
All right. So the grandmother, Farina, was arrested and listen to this. And she was charged in misdemeanor, and charges were dropped by a caseworker, Cheryl. And she did not want to bring. Okay, so when he went into the hospital for the child batter syndrome in 96, that's when charges was that's when she was facing charges. She was arrested. And they were finally dropped because the caseworker didn't want to bring Terrell to court. So they couldn't question him.
I don't know if this is a dumb question, but what is battery child syndrome? What is that?
It's enduring a lot of abuse. It's several things. But he went through a lot of abuse in the home. Like he was tied up to stair banisters. His head was dunked in the toilet. He was
burnt. My gosh, it's probably going to go into that, but that's very graphic.
Oh no, I'm reading it right now. He was burnt with cigarettes, or his feet, the bottom of his feet was burnt because his teacher noticed that he was walking funny when he came back to school. Yeah. And she took his shoes off and found all type of burnt marks on the bottom of his feet. And it was because Farina was retaliating against him because Terrell told that she was the one abusing him.
So this grandmother, or the grandmother of his siblings, just took him in just to
abuse him. What is
abuse him? I mean, I don't know any other word for that. You know, YouTube, but wow. So what you were speaking about with this slide here says Terrell told on Farina before, as the person who was abusing him, nothing was done. Terrell was returned to her custody.
Yep.
And Terrell's small body was covered with cuts, cigarette burns, and bruises. He was tortured and beaten. Massive
abuse. That's what led to his death, which is cardiac arrest. And when he died, he was 29 pounds. And his cause of death was blunt impact injuries to the head, trunk, and extremities.
Oh my gosh.
And again, get this. Farina was not the only person that abused him. It was the Aunt Terry who abused him and her boyfriend, Calvin.
Oh my goodness, this poor child. The things that
3
he had to
adults
endure.
abusing a 5-year-old.
Oh my goodness.
So they were all sentenced to life in custody. Do you know that custody try to cover up his death because they had watered down protocol? They didn't do what they were supposed to. They were supposed to check on him and the siblings once a month, and they barely did it. And then I think you can go to the next page.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. This one's a little bit small if you need me to read it.
No, I got it. I
Okay.
got my screen on the big one.
Okay.
So the caseworkers, they hardly visit, which, like I was saying, they were supposed to visit once a month. They had 11 different caseworkers assigned to their case and 10 supervisors overseeing the case. So why is there so many different ones coming in and coming out, not knowing the full story and like knowing his case? Like, this is ridiculous. 11 caseworkers and 10 supervisors.
I just I don't have any words for that. So I honestly have no words for that. So we can continue on if you like. So here it says 10 supervisors overseeing the case. Officials in the Georgia Department of Family and Children's Services covered up his death, like you were mentioning. And Terrell's lawyer, Don Keenan, I believe, sued the state of Georgia once he received Terrell's case and started sharing a light on the foul things that were happening to him. Don made a quote. Who's Don?
Don Keenan is his lawyer. Terrell's lawyer.
Oh, Don. I just read that. Sorry, y'all. Excuse me. I'm sorry. My bad. Yes. Don made a quote. Thank God.
He was unalive.
I don't know if I can read that.
So Don said to the courts, thank God he was unalive. I think anybody would have known or understood what the little guy was going through. They would rejoice in his death.
Oh my God. So it was that bad.
One of the worst cases in Georgia.
Thank God that pretty much that God took him away from that mess so that he can, the baby boy, so that he can have some peace in his life. So he will no longer have to endure the torture and the
right. Can you imagine a 5-year-old going through all that? What, their body can't take all that.
No, and then like you said, he's 5 years old and he weighs 29 pounds. How old? Somebody educate me. Sorry, I have my earring came out, but somebody educate me. What is the average weight for a 5-year-old? It can't be 29.
It's not 29 pounds.
Can't be 29
pounds is Tyler's. That's Tyler's weight. 29 pounds.
Somebody put in the chat if y'all know what's the average weight of a 5-year-old.
Yeah, because I don't know either.
It
but
can't
I know
possibly be 29.
I know 29 pounds have to be toddler's weight. So that's
like that.
He was being starved.
Malnutrition. They starved him too, but they didn't mention that.
Yeah, they mentioned it. I just felt like there was so much other stuff in here. They starved him.
Wow.
So Ralph and Cheryl, the two DF. Oh, did I put that in there wrong? I said DFCS.
It's all right. We all know what we're talking about.
Investigators and caseworkers, they never was fired for the misconduct and their false reports in Terrell's case.
So they knew what was going on with him. They just refused to share it, or did they have some type of relation with the grandmother, the foster care?
I never figured that out, but they definitely covered it up because they didn't want to get in trouble because they knew what was happening and they was doing the bare minimum in their cases.
Oh, wow. JW Max said average weight of a 5-year-old is 40.5 pounds. So he was almost half of that. My God. Thank you for the information, JW Mac. Appreciate it. Wow. But here it goes to say that Georgia's legislator made a law after his horrific case The Terrell Peterson Act, giving doctors the right to take temp custody over abused children brought to the hospital. No law is bringing Terrell back.
Yep.
Exactly. So we actually have that PDF file of that. I'm just going to place it in the chat so that if you guys want to go back and look at it, you can. You're more than welcome to do that. So it's called the Terrell Act, Terrell Peterson Act. Okay, it's right there in the chat. If y'all would like to click on it and just scan right through it. But yeah, it's true. Ain't no law. First of all, do they think that them making a law after him gives this little boy justice of what he had to endure and go through, and there was nobody that was there to actually help him?
No, no.
And see, this is the problem with the you know what. This is the problem with the you know what, is that they think that they can, especially after the person is finished, deleted, unalive, and they're gone, they're out of the life of the living, that they think it's going to do some justice if you name something after them, and you think that and they're going to do something after them, and does that make them feel better about themselves? I mean, it probably does make them feel better about themselves, and on top of that, it's just some other mess that I don't even want to get into. That's crazy. Anyways, I'm going on a little rage about this because this is ridiculous. This is so ridiculous.
I know.
Like the adults with this are failing the children. Innocent children should never have to go through this. You know what? Those people, if they don't repent, I'm telling you, those people, it's like they're gonna have a milestone around their neck. It's better for them to have that and to be thrown in the sea. Just watch. They're gonna get their judgment when it comes to that, because no, that's sick.
Yeah,
and this little boy is dependent on somebody. He's helpless. He was only 5 years old and he's helpless, and somebody does something like this to him. I mean, what?
I don't. They have to be real sick individual. They have to be demonic. They have to be something like completely evil.
Yeah,
the adult to be abusing a kid like this constantly.
Looking at it, looking towards the adult to be there to take care of them, and all they do is torture and abuse them, and to the point where they're just unalive. That's just very sad. And I know that baby's is crying out because of what has been done to him. My God. Anyway.
Everybody felt him. His mother felt him. His daddy felt him.
Yeah.
The foster people felt him. The CPS felt him. And this picture was taken at the hospital when he went in for the child batter syndrome, when he was diagnosed with that.
Yeah, and the doctors didn't even help him. Or allegedly. I should say allegedly with that, but you know more information about that, Ken.
Well, it didn't really go into detail about what the doctors could do. I'm sure they probably tried to intervene, but CPS was the ones that had the say on that. They returned him home. I mean, they returned him to that home.
Just like the lawyer said, and I hate to say it, but just like the lawyer said, it was better for him to be gone. Because I don't know, anyway. Sorry, I'm just lost for words with that. Excuse me. But JW Max said, those involved will pay dearly. You reap what you sow. Terrible. And yes, Ken, it is demonic. It sure is. So I think this might, that was the end of Terrell. So you want to introduce?
All right. So the
baby. That was failed.
The next one, little girl Amani Moss, rest in peace, baby girl. This case was really, you know what? All these cases, when I was researching these cases, I was so upset. I was getting so mad. I was like, how can people do these to kids? And it be their own people. Okay, so Amani was born April 23rd, 2003 and died October 28th, 2013. She was 10 years old in Georgia. Another Georgia case.
What is going on, Georgia? Georgia, what is really going on?
So Amani's biological mother, of course, she was addicted to drugs. She was taken out of her custody because she was, deemed unfit because she was addicted to crack cocaine.
Yeah.
And she was placed with her father Iman, the monster, who had a share in her death. He received full custody. Her stepmama, Tiffany, the main monster.
The big monster.
Starved Imani for years before her death. Her father never stopped the abuse. She was 32 pounds at the time of her death, toddler's weight, and she was 10 years old.
That's 32 pounds at 10 years of age. Gonna hit the teenagers in 3 years if she were to survive, if she did live. Wow, wow. Give me just a second. I'm gonna go to the chat so that I can get a little bit of breather because this is messed up, man. Trinette said the doctors and nurses take allegations with Satan. So they turn their back on people. Yeah, I believe that. Yep. Pretty much. Pretty much. But yeah, let's just move on to the. Well, okay, let me read. 32 pounds and she was 10 years
10 years old. Yep.
32 pounds.
I don't know what type of father. Well, I know what type of father she had. I don't know why you feel like I just have zero respects for a man that allows a woman to mistreat his wife to abuse his daughter, his kids, like period. Like, oh no.
Zero. Trinette also said the system fails the minority and low class people. And I believe that. That's fact. Because look, as you can see, the slides that we're going to, who are these people considered? The pictures that you see. They're minority.
Minorities.
Low class people, the poor, however you want to call them. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so there's more. If you want me to read this?
You can read some.
Okay. But get this, y'all. Tiffany lost her job as a preschool teacher.
Yep.
In 2010, after Imani told her school nurses she's afraid to go home with her with a bad report card because she was already beaten with a certain rod by Tiffany. So this lady, oh my gosh, this lady was a preschool teacher.
Yes,
and she's doing my mind to pretty much a preschool. Would she be a preschooler at the time? I can't think. 5th grade, maybe, right? 10 years old.
Yeah.
And she's doing this to somebody at home, and she's man, y'all better watch who y'all have y'all children around. I'm telling you. I am telling y'all, watch your children and pray over them when y'all want to try to put them in these schools or these preschools or these Head Starts or these what do you call it? Daycares.
Yep.
Man,
all of them.
There's some wicked people out here in this world. My goodness. Lord have mercy.
You gotta use discernment who you have your kids around for real.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely.
I can't.
So she was afraid to go home with a bad report card
because she was already
beaten with a certain. Sorry, I said certain. Excuse me, curtain rod.
Yeah,
a curtain rod by Tiffany. The nurse found bruises and filed a report. Tiffany was arrested. GDF's.
It's Georgia. It's Georgia Department.
Georgia, okay.
Child Family Services. I mixed up the letter. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Signed a plea deal and dismissed her case after she and Iman completed parenting classes. Tiffany got off because she was first time offender. I'm sorry, she should have never gotten off.
No,
sorry.
She never.
And they should have looked at her and be like, no, girl, no, sis. Wait a minute, sis. You're a preschool teacher. And you're doing stuff like this? Oh no, she shouldn't have gone off by that. No, just imagine certain kids that she could have put in danger while she was a teacher. But anyways, I'm talking too much.
Yeah, but keep in mind, Tiffany did have 2 kids that was in the home too. That was actually her biological kids.
Did she harm them, or was it just her stepchild?
She just harmed her stepdaughter, Imani.
Of course. Of
Yep.
course.
So Imani was placed in her grandma's care, Robin, and then CPS returned her back to the monster 6 months later. During
Why?
that time, that's what I was asking. During that time when she was with her grandma, she was doing well in school and she was happy. And
so she was thriving, and nobody could actually like. That's the thing. Okay, so if you're seeing this happening, and if these CPS people, DFS, however you want to call them, they want to step in, and they act like they care about the children and all this and stuff like that. So shouldn't you keep tabs on them just to see what they're going through, seeing how their home life is like, and seeing how they thrive, or if they're not thriving, if something's going on, just seeing is basically like how they are in their life. If they're downfalling, or if they're being lifted up, and they are like there's light in their eyes, you know what I'm saying? Because just like what you read with here about the grandmother, Imani was doing well in school and she was happy. So she was doing that, thriving while she was living with her grandmother, and then you gonna send her back to the monsters?
Yeah, because because they don't really care about these kids. It's
exactly.
Just a paycheck.
They want
it's a paycheck for them, and they go home. It ain't their problem.
They want to talk about. There you go. You said it, kid. You said it. A paycheck. Allegedly.
Yeah, they just put anybody in these positions. It's a tragedy, but yeah. So Imani ran away twice before her death because of the abuse. She was being tied up in coach showers. Her hair was cut off by Tiffany because I guess Tiffany said, if you're gonna act ugly, you can be ugly. So she cut her hair.
What?
Yes, the police was called doing one of those runaways, and they brought her back and they left her there because there was no. The police said there's no sign of abuse.
What? Okay, so this must have had to happen after she was with her grandmother and she was able to heal. So they didn't see any signs. Oh, man. Oh, aren't they? Oh, they're crafty. They are crafty.
Tiffany's crafty because get this, you don't hear nothing about Iman. Why? Because he was at work majority of the time. He was barely at home because he had 2 jobs, but he knew of the abuse and he didn't want to put his foot down.
And that was his actual daughter, right?
Yes, that was his daughter.
Yeah, he's sick. I want to have words for him, but I'm not going to even say it. I won't even say it. All right, let me go to the chat real quick. JW Max said a good movie about saving the children is Sound of Hope. The story of Possum Trot, is that what it's called? A very heartfelt film, very touching. So if you guys want to go and look at what JW Max said, go check out those movies. Okay. And then also he said a Texas town that adopted 77 children out of the system. What did they do with that?
What did they do? What did they treat them right, or did they do wrong?
Were they treated well or no? And Trinette said, this is sad, but this is one way Satan is destroying the children. If he can't get them in the womb, he set up CPS to finish it. Oh, that's a great point. What a beautiful point that you point out. I never thought of it that way.
Me neither.
That's a great point. Thank you. That is a very good point. Man. Oh my goodness. Because you already saw, like in the video that we started in the beginning of the show, where speaking about a woman, she actually endured that when she was in foster care. And she was going in, and she's an advocate. And all those children that were in there, that said, the interviewer asked, how many of you have been abused? And it looked like the majority of those people that was in that room raised their hand.
Yeah.
Oh my. Moving along.
So these there was one more thing at the end of that.
Oh, okay. Let me go back.
So these foster care parents, don't they get a check to take kids in?
I think so. I think that they do.
Want the money. Yes. They don't be willing to treat them kids right. Not all of them. I'm not going to say all, but a lot of them do.
No, it's not all.
So after Imani, because they pulled her out of school, and after her hair was cut, Sharonice, or whatever her name is. I'm
So
sorry if
her
I'm saying
aunt.
it wrong. Yes, that was her aunt, her brother, her dad's sister.
Mm-hmm.
Called CPS on her brother and her sister-in-law.
I would have snatched mine, but then she could have. If she would have done that, even if she had proof, she probably would have gotten in trouble, and they would have considered it kidnapping.
Yeah, she probably would have gotten in trouble.
You see how twisted that is?
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, do you see how twisted that is?
Yep.
It's beyond twisted. Oh my goodness. Yes, treated well. The children were saved from evil people. Wow, amazing.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yep, sure is. They must be good people. You said 77 children out of the system. Wow. Okay, so here it says also anonymous tip was reported to CPS or DFCS. What? How do you say?
It's department
girl.
It's department child. It's Department Child Family Services. Can I just say? You can just say CPS.
CPS because I always struggle with the DS. I was like, what is that? And they'll be like, well, it's the same as CPS. Okay, all right, that one. So CPS about Imani being neglected and looking thin, and no one followed up about the concerns. So after Imani was unalived, her body was kept in a dirty blanket for days.
In the family's
apartment as they went on with their life. Now, those people are demonic. Somebody there? No, because who can just know that there is first of all a child and an unalive child?
Your child, though,
and you're going around and this set for days, so you're smelling that corpse. You're there smelling it, and it ain't doing nothing to you. You're just going on in life. You're a demon. Sorry, but you are.
Imam went on about his life. Your daughter's laid up in another room in a blanket, unalive, because of your wife. Okay, so until Halloween, when the monsters decided they were going to drive Imani's body to a low-traffic area to burn her body in the trash to cover up their crime. Okay, but she wouldn't burn. Her body wouldn't burn to ashes, so they took her back to the apartment.
Cut. Pause. Here's my tinfoil conspiracy hat going up. I know people ain't gonna like this, but whatever. Halloween, y'all know if you know what I'm speaking about, you know. If you know, you know. Okay, Halloween and all this stuff until Halloween, when the monsters decided to drive Imani's body to a low traffic area to burn her body in a trash can to cover up the crime. Come on, y'all. Read between the lines when I say Halloween.
But her body wouldn't burn. That's what they get. Her body, they couldn't get rid of her. So they took her back. And get this, I just want to say something else. During this time, when they brought her body back to the house, do you know that Tiffany took her 2 children trick-or-treating while her stepdaughter was dead?
You know what? I don't doubt it because they had her dead. They had her unalive body in their house. So, yeah, it was nothing to her for days. So, yeah, it was nothing for her.
Nothing to her. Right.
Now, my question is, was the kids there?
So, they went on.
Foul.
But they don't remember the kids were small children, so
I'm not saying anything about the children. I'm just saying like they had the children in there.
They
because
were there.
You would think that, well, how small were they? Were they like toddlers or?
I think so at the time.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because I would be like, Mommy, what's that smell? Mommy, why is it smelling here? Because you know that she was stinking.
Or not
to be graphic, but you know that she was stinking for days.
They were probably asking where their sister at.
And they were asking that too, probably.
Like, oh my God.
Oh, and for this man to allow that, oh man, he's sick. They're both sick. They're both sick.
So Iman, he finally cracked. Oh, really? You finally cracked. And he called the authorities after he confessed to someone who said to call the police. So you had to confess to someone and they had to tell you to call the police on your ass. Oh,
what?
You know what? What? Guess, and you know, Tiffany did what she did best. Coward. She fled the scene with her 2 children, but then she later turned herself in because, like, she was going to get found out regardless.
Iman pleaded guilty in 2015 for his role and received life without parole. Good. And Tiffany was sentenced to death May 1st, 2014 on countless of charges. She defended herself on trial.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's
She
dumb.
defended
That's real
herself
dumb.
on trial. I was
You're
watching
real
the
dumb.
trial.
You know what? This woman, she really thinks something of herself. She thinks
You
that
do?
she really thinks something of herself. For her to go and do this horrendous crime that she has committed, and she thinks that she can go and defend herself.
Yes,
She really thinks that she is something. She ain't no Ted Bundy, because I know that Ted Bundy, he had some type of lawyer background, didn't he? And he defended himself. But like, girl,
yeah, she called herself being another Ted Bundy defending herself in court.
oh, what?
Looking like an idiot.
Oh my goodness.
And you didn't think you was gonna get death, ma'am?
Girl, like it said, Tiffany was sentenced to death May 1st, 2014 on countless of charges. She defended herself on trial, and Iman testified against her. Ooh, he's still in the wrong though.
Right.
Oh, you feel bad now that your daughter is gone at the hands of your woman, and you knew all about it too. And he took part of it too, right?
Right. He took part in covering up the well, I don't care. He took part in it all because you knew. You knew.
I get that people have a, maybe some people like end up like having a conscience and stuff, and they feel bad about it and they're repentant.
Ain't no way in hell that I'm allowing somebody to mistreat my kid. I'm going to unalive them. Sorry. Like, I'm not it.
You ain't the one, sis.
Like, seriously, how are you going to sit there and watch a woman mistreat your kid? Nope. I ain't it. I can't. I can't do it. Sorry.
Oof.
Already know.
It seems that
the CPS. It seemed that CPS, the police.
Sorry, go ahead, King.
It seemed that CPS, or you guys know, Department Child Family Services, that's what it is, and mostly her coward father, Iman, failed her. Be careful who you marry or you're in relationships with.
Yeah, exactly. And just like I spoke before too, be careful with these schools and stuff that you're putting your children into. Be careful, pray about it, because you never know what demons is lurking around to get a hold of your babies. Let's just put it that way. Let me go to the chat here. Enjoying the circus said, joined a bit late, but consequences did her parents receive?
Iman, he got life without parole, and her mother gave up her rights, so she wasn't in the picture because she was on crack cocaine.
Yeah. And I think this is in regards to the Halloween comment. The work of demons trying to sacrifice, and God didn't allow the baby to burn.
Yep, that's what they get. What they get. That's trying to cover up evidence.
Yep. That's what you get. You've been found out.
Right.
You have been found out. So, rest in peace to these babies. Oof, my God. So here we go. Here, Kendra, if you want to discuss this part, more failure cases.
Yep, that's basically what it is. More failure cases on Department Child Family Services, and of course, their parents are always to fail first.
Yeah.
All right. Example 1, Colton Turner. Okay, 2 years old. Buried in a shallow grave in Austin, Texas in 2014. Department Family Service Child Services didn't properly investigate his living conditions or the bruises on the baby.
So who buried him?
His mama and daddy.
Wow. 2 years old. He didn't even have a chance in life. Lord have mercy, because these wicked people. And then next to the right here, you guys see Brandon White, example number 2. Brandon White, 15 years old, autistic. He was
suffocated.
I'm sorry, I don't know if I can.
He was suffocated. He was suffocated after being tied up in the home. He had black eyes, burnt marks from cigarettes, and bruises. And DFS, whatever, you know what I'm saying, CPS received repeated complaints over the years, over 10 years, and they did nothing. They left him in the home.
Hold on. Sorry. This is messed up. This is just, people are so wicked and evil, man.
And it be their parents.
Man.
I don't understand how
all of this it's just messed up. And even when it gets to even when it gets to disabled children, like, that's messed up, man. When I hear about this, because I have autistic nephews and nieces, and within my family, and it's like they're helpless, just like these babies are helpless. And just people just do stuff like that. That is so messed up, man. Like, sorry, I'm trying not to tear up, but this is just messed up.
Well, I did when I was reading these cases already. I was highly pissed, but
wow.
Yeah, just look at them. Like, how you abusing kids, period, and then how you abusing disabled ones who really don't understand nothing. How can you be a parent suffocating your own kid and tying him up, giving him cigarette burns? Who's burning kids with cigarettes? Seriously.
Evil person, that's who.
Like seriously, they all belong in hell. I'm sorry. Sorry.
And they're going to, especially if they don't repent and give their life to God. They and I know people don't like to talk about that, whatever, I don't care. That's what's gonna happen. Okay. These poor babies, more failure cases. And there was an example number 3.
Yes. And okay. So the last example is of a couple who lives in West Virginia, which is a recent case. They adopted 5 children and forced them to work on their farm as slaves. They human trafficked them as well. And they did child neglect, and they made them live in like a barn, like they dogs, like they animals. They made them live in despicable living conditions. And they got away with it for some time until the neighbors or somebody decided, oh, we're going to call the police on them. Oh, you didn't see no black kids working on the farm? You know what?
I can't.
Let me take a drink.
I cannot. People, they're just, there's some people that be like, oh, they be aware, but they don't want to intrude, because they're going to feel like something bad is going to be done to them. So they don't want to say anything. Or in our community, just one second, let me just say this real quick. Or in our community, they'll be like, oh, I don't want to be a snitch.
No, I'm a snitch, and I'm calling 911, and I don't care.
That's what they will say.
I don't care. I don't live by the street code. I'm snitching. Just know that.
Especially when it comes to children. If someone can say, oh, don't be a snitch, making somebody feel bad, especially when it comes to children.
Yeah, but it'd be the ones that say, don't be a snitch. What if it was your kid?
Right, exactly. You'll probably go in there with the, you know what, how, all over the place. Just like Samuel L. Jackson did in The Time to Kill.
Yeah, and I was happy he did it.
Like, for real. So here, it says, how did they get away with these crimes for so long?
Did you know about the Adoption and the Safe Family Act? First created by Walter Mondale in 1974 and then again in 1997 by Bill Clinton, offering cash bonuses for children to be adopted in homes at a fast manner. So CPS was getting rid of the children, so they didn't care where they placed them at because they got incentives. They got money. It's always about money. They were pimping them out. The agency was pimping them out, and they did not care about their well-being. Thousands of dollars. Special need kids got an extra $2,000.
What?
Children that was in mental facilities on 16 drugs, they received more funds.
This might as well be trafficking. It is trafficking.
It is.
Might as well be that.
This is one of the biggest trafficking organizations that is easy for a kid to get trafficked in. It's CPS. I don't care what nobody says.
And it's hidden unless you really know what you're talking about. What you're talking about. It's hidden very well. It's well hidden.
And why are they putting mentally challenged or disabled kids on 16 drugs to keep them in that delusional state, to keep them crazy?
That's exactly it. So that they won't be in their right mind. They're always sedated so that they won't have their mind. They won't be in their right mind. It's sedated. That's what it is.
It's these parents' fault. It's their fault.
Yeah, it is. I blame the parents. Okay. I blame the parents. You're supposed to protect your children. Just like there was a video that I wanted to share that I watched. A CPS lady showed up at the door, and this man, he actually knew what he was talking about. He had his little clipboard, and he was checking off the marks, and he was saying, "This is my rights." He was like, because the lady was like, "I need to go in," and she's like, "I already spoke to your daughter." And the guy was like, "Well, how did you get permission to speak to my daughter?" And so she was just going through all this stuff, and she's like, "Well, I need to come into your home." He's like, "You don't have the right to come in my home. What is your reason why I'm here? Did I do something?"
Yeah,
they have the video up, but
right. I seen it.
You know what? I'll put it in the chat so that way y'all can go and take a look.
Yeah, some of these CPS workers, they get money to take kids out their homes.
Yep.
Oh, let's just get as many kids as we can taken away from their mamas and daddies and put them in these foster cares that's gonna harm them, and we gonna get paid.
Yep, pretty much. Hold on, I want to get that. I want to get that thing real quick for y'all. Let me go here, history, because I was like, "What?"
Wait.
You know what, y'all? I'm gonna have to post it after because it's not up here.
I just saw something that just took my mind off of the seriousness. What JW Max said.
What? Where?
The chat.
Oh, the last one. This one.
Yeah.
I'll snitch faster than Karen's be on the phone saying they out there right now.
Yep, I'm snitching too. I don't care.
Yeah.
You can call me a snitch. I done heard worse names.
Let me just go through the chat real quick because we're almost done, y'all. Trinette said, "I pray over the children every morning for the children against this school system." You can't trust it. It can't be trusted.
Right. My son don't go to school. He homeschooled.
Right. Was there any comments for CPS?
What do you mean comments?
Yeah,
and all these in these CPS cases, you know, in our first case, since you came a little late, in the Terrell Peterson case, they try to cover up his abuse and death, and they never got fired.
Nope, they didn't. Just like some of these cops unaliving certain folks, certain people, and they're getting off. They get suspicion, or what is it called? They get what's the word? I can't think of the word right now.
Suspended or
suspended, but pay.
Yeah, suspended with pay. Oh hell no.
Yep. Not that they can actually excuse themselves. No, they can't excuse themselves. JW Max said, "These demons always want to burn people with cigarettes. That's torture. I pray the perpetrator get it back 1,000-fold. That's sick." And it is like, ugh.
Burning kids with sit there in their right mind and burn a kid with cigarettes.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody demonic.
Yeah,
somebody who's crazy.
That's what it is.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
And I don't want to hear no mentally insane, because you know how they like to say, "Oh, they were mentally insane. They didn't know what they're doing." No, they were full of demons. Say it right.
Yep. And Enjoying the Circus said, "It always comes down to money. There needs to be audits of these agencies to keep them in line."
It's supposed to be.
There's gonna be no audits to keep these people in line because there's higher probably people that's working with them.
You know, there's always it's the hires up It's the higher up who is calling the shots.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yep. Higher up
Yep.
is calling the shots, and they want the kids to be mistreated.
And human traffic is a good word for the organization. Yeah. That's pretty much what it is. Unfortunately, the burning kids with cigarettes happens often in foster homes. Yeah,
okay, that's ridiculous.
And it shouldn't be often. It's crazy to say. Just say that it's often, and that shouldn't even come out of that. Like kids are going from a corrupted home to another.
Oh, let me just burn you. What? Let me just burn you with this cigarette. No, your grown ass needs hella. You need to be thrown in fire. How about that? Burning kids with cigarettes, like.
Right. Why don't you just burn yourself with a cigarette? Right. If you feel like in the burning mood, burn yourself. Okay.
Right. Just like these people are unaliving these kids. Why don't you go unalive yourself if you're that damn unhappy? Like seriously. Sorry. Like stop unaliving these kids. Do it yourself. Okay.
I don't recommend that.
Well, I don't recommend either. That. But I don't recommend you killing kids either. For sure. I'm sorry. If it's up against you trying to unalive a kid and unalive yourself, I'm gonna tell your ass go unalive yourself. Like seriously, I'm sorry.
Not be laughing like that.
I give zero freaks about it. Like seriously, wow. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness, it's very old, and yes, it's sick. Even when I was a kid, it happened to other kids, so it's been going on for ages.
Yep.
It ain't nothing new. Ain't nothing new.
New under the sun, right?
No. It's sad. So with this information, all this information, thanks to Ken, she got all this information for the show tonight. So here are, actually, before we give you the sources, the final thought, do you want to give the final thought, Ken?
So if it's left up to me, DCFS, the police, some family members, especially them no good parents, all have the children's blood on their hands, and they're the bottom barrel pigs, and I hope they burn in hell. That's how I feel.
Yeah, this show is probably gonna be limited.
Oh well.
Or maybe I'm not. But hey, the truth is the truth. And let's just be real, y'all. The world, they hate truth.
Yep.
Sorry, but they do.
We always get shadow banned.
Yeah.
We speak the truth.
Yes, ma'am. So here's all the sources. I mean, if y'all want, you know what I'm gonna do is all these sources. Once we end the live, I will make sure I put all these sources underneath the description box so that y'all can click on them, because it's gonna probably just be too long to put it in the chat.
Yeah.
So I'll just put it underneath the description box. And if y'all are interested, please click on those links and go research for yourselves so that you can see that we got this information from there and that there ain't no lies here. We just going off of what, these sources said, and plus in pretty much discernment. Okay. Right. Like, let's just be real. JW Max say, good job, Ken.
Thanks.
Yes. So that would be the end of all of
this was a rough research to do, because I was getting pissed.
Oh, it's very rough, but I appreciate it. I'm sorry, y'all. I got a little bit choked up earlier about this, but I'm sorry. I love kids. I love children, and it just hits home to me, especially when it comes to disabled children, autistic children. That just really hurts my heart. It really hurts my heart to see children in general and disabled children to be mistreated like that. It's horrific. And for somebody, you don't have no soul, you have no heart if you do that at all. Because it's babies and the children, they're so innocent. They just want to be loved.
Right.
They just want to be loved. They want to be loved on. They're full of life. They have, like, who can do that to someone who's innocent? Oh, sad. Very sad. Anyways, y'all, we thank y'all for coming to this live. I didn't
Thank you
say it
guys for
before, but
coming.
don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you are watching the replay, please comment down below and let us know
Thumbs
how
up.
you feel. And if you have any further information, or even if you haven't been in the system, give us your story and let us know your story, because we would really appreciate it and would like to hear it. And I just hope that everyone out there is
Yeah, leave your story so we can expose people.
yes, and just have y'all just have discernment and look to your children, be good parents, love on your babies.
If you don't want to be a good parent, don't have no kids. Keep them legs close and that thing in your pants. Like, seriously, it's really simple. It's really simple. Like, okay, let me not go off because I will.
Well, that's it. It is what it is, and you said it. So, hey, Ken, that's it for me. So, again, thank y'all for joining the live. And I still want to ask this question before we go. If anybody has any ideas that they would like for us to speak about, and even if you would like to be a special guest on our show, just let us know. You can contact us on Facebook underneath Double Dose of K's. Just find our page there, like that page as well, and we'll converse and we'll see what we can do. So, is there anything else, Ken, that you would like to say?
I don't know. We just need to protect children. People just need to do better. I always say people need to do better.
Yes, they do. Hashtag protect the children. Cheers to that. Cheers.
Thank you guys for coming in. Good night.
Good night and stay beautiful. Bye, y'all. It won't let me. Hold on.